Hey there, Trinity family. Hope all of you have had a great week. Thank you for taking the time to click on this link and to watch this video. I believe all of you probably, unless you randomly went to my YouTube channel or randomly went to my blog website, you are watching this because you received the link for this through our weekly church email. And the big thing I want to start with here today is to let you know some changes we're doing and how we are communicating with you, our church family. Sue and I, our staff, we're really working together to make things as efficient and effective and as accurate as possible in how we communicate to you. And towards that end, we're making some big changes to this weekly email announcements, really kind of calendar of events that we've been sending out for years now. And when you look at this and in the coming weeks, I hope you take some time to really look at how we are doing this. But a couple of big changes. First of all, this email that we send out each week is no longer going to be just a long list of all the different events that we have coming over the following months. Rather than that, what we have done is on our website, we've created a new page, our coming events page. If you go to our website, there's a tab that says coming events. You click on that. It's going to take you to a page that literally has at least all that we know of right now, every church event through the entire calendar year, through Christmas, right, at the end of the year. And for each event, for each headline there, you can click on a place and they'll give you more information about that event. And all that new information, that detailed information will be being filled out on future events as we move throughout the year, but it's all there, right? All these events, the calendar dates, the contact person, this essential information, it is all there. And rather than having lots of different places where we put information out, which can lead to confusion and conflicting information, this is the spot, all right? So Trinity, how do you know what's happening? You go to the coming events page on our website. That is the spot where the information is. Now, on this weekly email that goes out, what we're doing is I'm going back in time a little bit. If it's been 10 years or so, but I used to send out a weekly newsletter that we called First Tracks. And actually this predates me being the pastor here. First Tracks, a bit of a mountain reference there, a ski reference. And what our new weekly First Tracks email is going to have, first of all, is going to have this video update, a link that you can go to it, click on it, for a bit of a devotional message, an update from me, sometimes from Nikki, sometimes from Matt, probably most of the time from me. I'm going to have a little bit of a devotional thought that I'll share with you each week. Sometimes might be a little longer than the others. Most of the time, just a little short devotional thought. I'm going to have the information about what we're going to be talking about this coming Sunday. Okay, our main scripture. Then we're going to have a prayer section. I'm not going into specifics, but in general, how really encouraging us as a church body to be praying. Sometimes some very specific things, as there are in today's email. I encourage you to look at that and to look at how, again, directing us as a church body, the things that we need to be praying jointly together for how God is at work in our church. So a little prayer section there, and then a list of headlines that are coming events for our church, but not everything, okay? Just some big things each week we want to make sure that you're aware of, that it's getting on your radar. We talk about these in church on Sunday, but again, then a link that points you to that page, the coming events page on our website, where all the information is, okay? Big picture, that's where we're going. Guys, give us your feedback. We want to work together, again, to make our communication as efficient and effective as it can be. So, having said that, I want to talk to you about what's coming for this Sunday. You know, an issue that we have, just as being human beings, but even as believers, guys, is a concept, a word that we just don't like, is the concept of submission. The word to submit. We don't like to submit to other people. As human beings, we don't like to submit to God. But one of the ways we really hate submission, and I am in this category, guys, is submitting to government, right? Submitting to authority. There's just something about us that just rebels against that, especially if the people who are in authority, be it local government or a national government, are people that we don't agree with. But again, this is speaking to me here. When we find ourselves there, we got to take a look at what Scripture has to say, because one of the things that God calls us to do as his followers, as followers of Christ, as disciples, is to have a good working knowledge and experience of expressing this idea of submission. Listen to what Peter has to say. I'm going to pick up here, reading from my Bible, in verse 11. This was actually the text from last week, where Peter writes, he says, "Dear friends, I urge you, as foreigners and exiles, to abstain from sinful desires, which wage war against your soul." Then he goes on and says, "Live such good lives among the pagans, among the unbelieving people around you, that even though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day that he visits us." In other words, that people will see the authenticity of the goodness of God by our actions, by how we live. And guys, for a good bit of the rest of the letter here, especially chapter 2, Peter's going to describe what that looks like. He's going to give us practical examples of what these good deeds, right, the way that we live, that changes the way people think about God and about us, what that actually looks like. He's giving us examples. And the first one is this idea of submitting. Verse 13, this is where we're going Sunday. "Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every human authority." What? Peter, have you seen our human authorities lately? Whether to the emperor as the supreme authority, or to the governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. Or like, Peter, I think you've got an issue here. You're assuming that our government is doing that. You're assuming that our government is actually ethical and just and is good for us to submit to. Guys, Peter, that I'm not sure that's the case anymore. Guys, here's the deal. I don't want to belabor this, but when Peter was writing, the supreme governmental authority of his day was Nero. Nero has the distinction, and the people in Peter's time knew this, of being one of the most brutal dictators in the history of the Roman Empire, and specifically of being one of the most brutal persecutors of the church, of Christians. And yet, that being the case, Peter says, submit. Well, Peter, what does that mean? How do we understand this? And guys, we're going to push into this on Sunday. But listen to what he says here. He says it is God's will, it's God's desires, his purpose in our life, that by doing good, you should silence the talk of foolish people. And so be free, he goes on to say. Be free, but be servants, be respectful, be honoring, be countercultural in how we live in regards to the people in authority over us in our lives. Be countercultural in how we are people defined by respect and integrity and honor, even when we are living in a society and a culture who has almost completely jettisoned those values and how we relate to the authority structures in our world. Guys, some powerful principles here that we're going to push into on Sunday. So take some time to look at the things coming up here in the life of the church. Give us feedback if you got it. And we will talk to you soon, and I hope to see you Sunday. Guys, we'll love you.